It started like any other Friday night. The city hummed with life outside my apartment window, neon signs flickering and music spilling from nearby bars. I wasn't planning to go out, but when my friends called with their usual insistence, I relented. I told myself it would be harmless, just a few drinks, some laughter, and then home. Little did I know the night had plans of its own. I met him at a small, dimly lit bar tucked into a corner of the bustling downtown streets. He wasn't particularly striking at first glance, but something about his confidence caught my attention. He smiled at me in a way that felt both daring and familiar, as if he already knew a secret I hadn't shared with anyone. Conversation flowed effortlessly, fueled by shared jokes, subtle flirtations, and the quiet thrill of strangers meeting under the city lights. As the night progressed, drinks turned into more drinks, and our laughter grew louder. We moved closer, almost as if drawn together by gravity. My friends noticed, exchanged glances, but didn't say anything. There's always a moment when you sense that boundaries might slip, yet part of you wants it to happen anyway. That night, I let it. We left the bar together, walking through streets slick with recent rain. His hand brushed against mine, and for the first time in weeks, I felt the tension of my routine life dissolve. I knew the risks, how fleeting it could be, how complicated it might get, but the pull was irresistible. One drink became two, and one glance became the start of something I wasn't ready to define. By the time we reached his apartment, the city was quiet except for the distant hum of traffic. I hesitated at the door, a moment of doubt flashing through me. But then he smiled again, that same disarming smile, and my hesitation vanished. That night, words weren't necessary. The electricity between us said everything. Morning came with a strange clarity. The soft light of dawn revealed a tangle of sheets and a lingering scent of cologne. For a moment, I felt a pang of guilt. Society had trained us to feel ashamed of such choices, to wrap them in regret. But I didn't. I felt empowered, liberated even. The encounter had been raw, honest, and entirely mine. We shared a quiet breakfast, both of us aware that this was temporary. He wasn't someone I would see again, and I wasn't looking for permanence. Yet there was a connection, however fleeting, that made the previous night feel significant. It wasn't love, it was desire, curiosity, and a strange, exhilarating kind of freedom. The next day, I found myself scrolling through Reddit, seeking anonymity and perhaps a confession. I typed out my story, revealing the truth I couldn't tell anyone else. I had a one-night stand, and I'd do it again. I didn't expect responses, but when they came, they were a mix of judgment, understanding, and encouragement. Reading them, I realized that people connect with honesty, even when it's messy. Then came the betrayal. A close friend, someone I trusted more than I should have, somehow found out and mentioned it casually, as if it were gossip. Their words stung more than I anticipated. I realized that while I was comfortable with my choices, the world around me wasn't always ready to accept them. My empowerment suddenly collided with others' judgment, and the collision hurt. I confronted my feelings head-on. I didn't regret the night, nor the decisions I made. What hurt was the breach of trust, the exposure of my private choices. It was a reminder that empowerment often comes with consequences we don't anticipate, sometimes external, sometimes internal. Weeks later, I smiled again, this time alone in my apartment. Not a bitter or ashamed smile, but a proud one. I had embraced my desires without apology. I had faced judgment, and I had stood firm. The night, the thrill, the betrayal. It was all part of a story that was uniquely mine. Life moved on, as it always does. The city kept humming outside my window, neon lights flickering, music spilling from the bars. And sometimes when I remember that night, I smile, not for the fleeting passion, not for the shock or the gossip, but because I dared to live fully, unapologetically, and without regret.